All right, so with that, let's begin with our quest. Of course, my part here will be to cover all the necessary fundamentals, and I'll not assume that you people know anything. I'll just make sure that we start from the scratch so that it's easier when um, eventually when Vinay comes in, it's easier for you to connect with the ideas that are important. So I'll be starting with something which you all know. So the whole game actually started long time ago when the world when the whole because I'm not using any slides. Of course we can use a lot of slides. We have our own tool slide with AI. Everything is there. See the slides and everything. It's there. I have the whole slides with me, but I don't want to begin with the slide. I want to begin with the thought. So I feel when I write on a blank screen, when we start discussing stuff, it makes sense much more, and then we can always close with the summary. Summary slides can be for summary, but discussion should be something like this. So basically, the whole thing is about human and the world and how we are going to control this, or how we are going to understand the forces that affect our our lives. Other There are forces, there are psychological forces that we are always affected by within our own mindset, but then there are physical forces which actually undoubtedly anybody would can argue on that there are physical forces which shape the entire evolution itself. Every city, every colony, every civilization, every species has their own physical challenges, and that's how they evolve. And of course, being a species that we are, we evolved knowing the fact that in terms of evolution, we don't have traits, survival traits, just like other animals. So our own survival, the whole idea of creating all these world models, as we call it, the world models as we call it, is so that we can do the needful to be alive, to survive the harsh conditions. Now, what is that all about? So basically, you see, naturally we start understanding the world by first suffering the qualitative aspects of nature, and then to escape that suffering, any suffering, heat, weather, wind, food, famine, lack of water, right? Anything, animal attack and everything. All these are qualitative things which generate fear. That must be, it's something, because I want to start from here so that we all start somewhere we all agree with, and then from there I'll take it, right? So qualitative nature of life forces. Of course, by this, our brains, because we didn't have any survival traits, we developed a different kind of survival trait which made us model the surroundings. And the first attempt to model the surroundings, if I'm talking about the first prehistoric humans, the first attempt was to create numbers. So we actually moved from qualitative now to quantitative. So I'll not drag much. We all know what numbers are. So we just use one, two, three, dot, 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 infinity, and we just created this. But within this, there was a lot of hidden patterns. You could find odd numbers, you could find even numbers, prime numbers, infinity between these two numbers. Can you find, can you absolutely say whether the number of odds are infinitely more than number of evens? Questions start appearing as in when people started wondering about this. Now, from here on, you see there are two branches. One is the applied path, one is just increasing or questioning the abstraction, more about rigor, more about proof, correct? So these aspects actually led to development of math, and of course even this aspect that led the shortcomings here led to more people figuring out better and better abstractions. For example, I'll tell you what happens. You have one, two, three, four, dot, 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 and all of this. Inside that, you found different kinds of operators. These operators could be addition, subtraction, squaring something, squaring square root of something, squaring something. Then, of course, some complex operators came up, log of something, correct? So, all of these operators came because there was a need for it. In fact, John Napier actually created logarithms so that they could understand or they could convert this exponential nature, because you are squaring sometimes, or you could be cubing it, or you could be quadrupling it, and it might just keep on going. So you are actually moving towards n while keeping the number here. This exponential growth has to be again quantized and made it into an additive expression. To make this into an additive expression, log was created. It was a very, very beautiful thing. And when people started understanding how this entire exponential growth could now be seen as a simple, growth of manageable growth. So basically, this is what effectively changed, or this is what led to, if you can see, this is what led to understanding of rate of change. So basically, all of the real power of change appeared when Newton actually Newton and Leibniz both actually decided or attempted to capture the essence of growth. Just hold on a minute, please. While you think about it, just hold on a minute. I'll just be back. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for that. Uh, Now, the essence of growth. So, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to make you understand that we first modeled the world as numbers, but every modeling requires modeling of change as well. So, once these numbers became apparent to us as if they were a sense of growth, this is where the beginning of machine learning starts. Because okay, there are people joining in. Let me just add them, please. Yeah. So coming back to our discussion, this is where the whole idea of machine learning begins. Where The transition from just numbers to a sense of growth needed the discovery or invention of something called as algebra. Okay, algebra is where you actually say, instead of dealing with numbers, we'll just abstract the number as x and deal with the behavior and the relationship of different quantities. So basically, what happened, we just brought in the entire series of numbers into what we today call as, one second please, Vinay wants to join in just a second. Hi Vinay, sorry I was in the this one flow. So Vinay, are you able to?
Yeah. Oh, it's, yeah, yeah. I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for joining. I've started, so then you can join in once I finish this.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
So, to all the people, we have Vinay here. He is the founder of Wizori, founder of Style with AI. He's joining us from US, and we had this AI reset program. We figured this out that we should do some kind of an introduction and technological showcasing both in one session where we start from scratch and then end with what agents are able to do. We thought, can we put everything together in one series? Then he agreed, and we started this. Most of the college students were supposed to, but they're all still in the exam. So anyway, we have been asked to do it again next week, so we'll be doing the same thing again next week for many of the colleges. But let's take this as the first AI reset masterclass. Yeah, Vinay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get back to our screens. Okay. So here we go. We are trying to understand what happened. Numbers were there. You take a set of number one, number two. You take different phenomena, phenomena one, phenomena two, and you use the set of numbers to express what is happening in that particular phenomena. Take a set of number two, express what is happening in phenomena two. Right? So these, both these now has to be compared. Is this affecting this? For example, pressure and heat. You record all the pressures, you record all the heat. Now the question is this affecting each other? Obvious question. Now you take these values and put it on something called a Cartesian coordinate, while you decide whether pressure goes here or pressure goes here. Now this question is very important because this is where modeling starts. When you say pressure goes here, it means what? You are saying my analysis is to figure out if pressure is affecting heat. So heat becomes a dependent variable. If you interchange it, you are saying trying to understand if heat is affecting pressure. So basically, that's why you have x and y. This is the x coordinate, this is the y coordinate. This is the y axis, this is the x axis. And usually you see the equation, the most simplest equation that you see happening around this coordinate is if you draw a straight line. This straight line is, what is it saying? Understand this straight line, because everything starts from here. You built a relationship between these two axes. And what is this straight line saying? The straight line is trying to tell you that relationship between x and y is absolutely linear. Means if you move this much exactly by 1 unit, y will also move by 1 unit. If you move by 2 units, y will also move exactly by 2 units. That is what it means when the line goes through the origin. This is the purest form of a relationship that you can find, and it is usually fabricated. Nothing in nature works like this. No phenomena affects another phenomena such in such linear way unless it is orchestrated that way. So you see, all of the engineering that we encounter is to make sure that somehow you bring in the control over those variables so that eventually you can achieve this small linear control in small parts. Okay, so I've just jumped off a little bit, but if you really think about it, it's actually the way. Now, all of this was being done by hand. There was a time when there were no computers. There were still people were still creating these. Just a second, let me just put this whole screen away. Right. So now, what is this? What is this algebraically? What? How do you see this? Algebraically, you say y is equal to x. That's what it is happening. That's what's happening, right? Y is equal to x. The nature of this model is this: y is equal to x. So basically, what did algebra do for you? It actually spelt out the relationship to you. Instead of saying y is exactly linear with x, which we cannot deal with language all the time because we cannot manipulate language the way we can manipulate math in terms of its quantities and qualities. So we used a language. Now this language gets extended because what if this whole thing did not go through the origin? What if it went through this line? This also could be a relationship. But what this relationship is saying, this relationship is saying that for every change in x, the change here is not linear. Extra bias is already introduced. And because you change this, here it was 1 is to 1. Because the relationship between this is so, the slope of it is so perfect that the actual value which you would like to actually express is actually y is equal to mx, but m becomes 1 because the rate of change, the change in x with respect to change in y is almost 1. That's why 1 m became 1, and that's why I wrote y is equal to x. Now here the rate of change has changed. Plus the bias has changed. Now how do I algebraically mention this? I would say y is equal to mx plus c. See the general form. The whole of this algebra that you're looking at is actually an expression of what happened between the drama that happened between the two variables that were under investigation. Now, this was applied. Otherwise, algebra in itself was its own field. Relationships, inequalities, equalities, a lot of things which are there, and everything started with an assumption saying that let's have three body, let's have polynomials, multiple variables. It keeps on going. But when you apply it, you'll see that this is what that language actually tells you. So, who did this? Who actually created this right now? We created it right in front of. We just sat down and then we wrote this. Supposing that you know, uh, that we actually get the pressure and the heat values, mark it here, then see the relationship, and we write that equation down. While writing that equation down, went here, we measured this, then we went here, we saw where is it cutting here. When we realized, acha, there is this inherent bias. No matter what happens, the y value will always start from here. Given the x plus some bias is y. So we call this, now we have to call this something, right? So people call it different. Now people call it slope and this as a constant. But in machine learning, we call this weight and we call this bias. Is it making sense, yeah, or is it too complicated? Like, have I connected it from the scratch? Do you know what's happening? I would like anyone to, like, you know, uh, yeah, if you can just give a thumbs up, you can use those things if you don't want to. Thank you. Perfect. So now comes the part of machine learning. Before I go there, let me also complicate it a little. See, now I'll just start drawing, you'll start imagining. Coordinates, x and y, x and y, x and y. You saw this relationship. You saw another relationship like this. We saw this aspect. You can have relationships which go like this, and then you can have a relationship which moves like this. To now you see, I told you everything eventually, that's what we do. We can't, for us, eventually, since everything has to come to the number line, because that is our language. And if you want to model this, just like how you modeled here, y is equal to mx plus c. If you want to model this, you are looking at this entire thing in many, not just one, but many lines. By hand, I'm still talking about if you were to do it by hand, you would have to look at this line. There's another line, then there's another line, then there's another line, another line, and another line. So how many lines are there? One, two, three, four, five, six. There are six changes in dimension. There was six change in nature, six times. So you see your model eventually is going to look something like, now you understand why the polynomial equation comes up. Because we want to model this particular change, the small deltas that are changing has to be modeled in your equation. Imagine this was okay. I mean, you just took some pressure, x and y value, you plotted it by hand, you went there, you calculated it, you got this. What did you actually get now with this? What did you achieve? What did you achieve by saying y is equal to mx plus c? What was your input? X. What was the dependent variable? Y. Now, what are you able to achieve with this? With this, you're able to achieve prediction, because now you can say, I have modeled the relationship between x and y. Next time, if you give me x, I will know exactly what the y is, because any given x multiplied by m and added by c will give me the y. This is what your modeling is all about. This is your most fundamental basic machine learning model. Who built this? You built it by hand, or we just envisioned how we can build it given x and y with us. But x and y could also be of this devious nature, right? See this curve? Not everything, I told you, not everything in nature works like this. And not everything in nature actually works even as good as this. Your reality is here. Now, can you imagine us or anyone sitting here and trying to understand what is the model? So, what do? We try to fit a model across this data. We don't have to model this exactly, but in general, we know how it is moving. Exactly too much. In general, we know how it is moving. So, if I can get this equation in, which again is the relationship between y and x, we are actually able to understand how that pattern is. This by hand is possible. But the question is, if I just give the x and the y both to a machine, can it still develop the model for us? Yes, it can. That whole branch of science is machine learning. All that the machine learning algorithm is doing is creating this this or a complex model like this. Now, this is just a simple, very simple example of relationship between y and x. Our talk, today's technology, is still about relationship between y, but your x has become, I don't know, this n can even go to 50,000. These are called the parameters. And each of this or all of this combined together is getting you a y. Where do you see this? Let's suppose this is a face, somebody's face, and all these parameters are actually pixels. Each of the face that you train has features. Somebody's nose is different, eyes is different, difference between nose and eyes, the headline, lips, everybody is different. That we already see it. Our brains are already having the capability to clearly see different people in different ways. We recognize them. We attach a label to them saying this is the name, this is what they mean to us. Correct? All of this entire image is converted into a pixel field, and this pixel field is now you see x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6. Now this becomes a multi-dimensional problem, all of which is trying to build a relationship with face of a particular person. So this is called image processing, where we are trying to make the machine learn your face, and this is happening on your phone. That's how it knows to recognize your face. It's there in your phone right now, but it was trained. The model was trained to understand the face, and then after a while it give your phone the different angles, and it will pick this up and build the same kind of model inside. Only this model doesn't look like a algebraic equation because it's not a single line. It's a complex tapestry of weights and parameters. The way you store it itself is different. So here what happened, from algebra to change rate of change in calculus, we came to the realm of linear algebra. Why linear algebra? Because no matter how many dimensions are there, machine still has, you still have to make it simple for the machine to do a routine calculation, because machine, no matter what you do, cannot do what brains can do. Machine is fast, so you can actually make it look as if it is intelligent because you're using the speed of the machine, but it is not actually that, this, right? It is not a three-dimensional engine. The way in which brain works is completely different, and that's why even with Neeraj sir and even he will agree with that we are having this program uh, called decision dominance, and the whole idea of decision dominance itself. Sir, would you like to add to this point that no matter how much machine is going to help you, you know, take a decision, you still want to use that creative mind of ours to actually dominate the decision by choosing the right parameters, right weights, and that's what the leadership thing is. So I just wanted to mention, since the point was here. So I guess he's there. Are you able to hear, sir? Stop. Okay. So basically, we coming back to the idea of what is happening in terms of algebra, linear algebra, and this. Yes, sir. So I was just discussing how the whole thing eventually is going to be decision dominance, where we, no matter how much AI will assist us, we will still have to use our brains to take a call on it, and that's what Vinay will also be, addressing on, as to eventually AI agents, everything would be there, but we still have to build the intelligence that really matters, which is mostly what we call as a deterministic path. What am I trying to say with this, a deterministic path? All of this math that we are generating here, all of this math that we are creating, actually, all of this math that we are creating, actually, the attempt is to make sure something is deterministic. Means we every time are assured, every time there is assurance that same input produces same output. This is deterministic. How many of you agree that you like a world which is like this? See, we humans, we want this for certain things, but we don't want this for certain other things. For all the things that are critical, we want this to be there. This is the whole control. You want to fly an aircraft, you want to get into an aircraft where the deterministic model is there. Would you like to get into an aircraft where the pilot says, "Hey, we're running an advanced airplane engine. It's amazing. It's cutting edge, but whenever I throttle, there's no point. There's no assurance that it is going to tip the way it does. It might just tilt off. So, would you go into that? No. Correct. Everybody wants deterministic outputs. What goes in, what goes out, what comes out should already be modeled. This is what everybody wants. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is very, very important. Just understand this. The current technology or LLMs that you're using, it is facing this problem. It is not deterministic. And if all of you are wondering what is my job later, Vinay will explain it in depth. The whole my single line there is, if you can convert the LLM's output, large language models output, which is predominantly non-deterministic. You ask the same question, same exactly same question to 10 different versions of LLM, 10 different people asking same question. Do you think it's going to give the same answer? No, it is non-deterministic. It is right because qualitative answers we are measuring, and we kind of are okay with one answer and another answer. Somebody is trying to explain what an LLM is, one LLM trying to explain what calculus is, another LLM explaining what calculus is. It's the same. Words might differ, but the feeling is same, the sentiment is same. It looks same because we can actually see 10 different answers and we say, okay, all of them have covered the whole topic. But when it comes to real control, where you want to use LLMs as an agent or an orchestrating device, then this deterministic thing goes away. So all the stuff that I'm talking about here with math and modeling and everything, still the realm of determinism. Determined, right? Determination means what? I will do that only. That is determination, correct? So deterministic model is only that will happen. That's what it is in math, deterministic models. But dealing with what eventually came out of this is something totally different, because as we kept on modeling, we realized that, you see, this prediction that is happening here, this particular interesting thing, this prediction that is happening here, there is no way you can actually model what happens from here to here, this point. Then there is this point. Then there is this point. What are you going to? How are you going to do this? How are you going to model this? That is when people started thinking in terms of probability. So we just try to make the best probabilistic model which is touching upon these values. Saying if this is here, what is the probability that it will still be linear? What is the probability after that? So a probabilistic model was eventually not a choice that we made, but it was an eventuality. Because your established or existing methodology of modeling something failed when nature became, we call this stochastic. Means it's not following a pattern which is easily modelable or easily modeled. So the stochastic nature, which is the real nature, is usually tackled with probability. So you will actually, if somebody wants to go deeper into as a research scientist, you will have to be comfortable with these terms, these abstractions. It will take some time, but eventually brain is brain. It will learn anything if you give enough time. But when will you give enough time? If you're crazy about that subject. It's not that anybody can give enough time and you learn. The whole choice of giving enough time, like how I gave enough time for this and how Vinay gave enough time for the technology and skills that he has done. It's all about that playful thing that we want to build. And of course, every time I would say, go find that field where you are playful about, where you're trying to build something, you have that kick of building something, and you will actually be good at it. Even, but my take is, if you want to be good at all these things, somehow you have to connect with this idea that nature, you're trying to constantly model nature. Let me come back to the business end of our conversation, where we start seeing how machines are actually modeling. Okay, so I'll just give you an example, very simple example. Let me say 2 3 5, and I'll just say, let's put 2 3 5 into an equation like this: x square plus 5. What happens? 4 plus 5, 9. I put 3 here, 9 plus 5, 14. I put 5 here, 5, 5 is 25, 25 plus 5, 30. See, you see this layer here. Just observe this layer. if you have this x square plus 5 beforehand with you, and if you have the input, and if you are generating the output, this is the classical computer science problem. This is what computers were built for. That I have this equation today, I have 235, but later I might have 10 lakh different numbers. I can't do it with hand. What will I do? I will create a programming language where I'll input this as a function. Function takes x, correct? Input. Inside the function body, you will write given x, you take x into x plus 5 and return the answer. Now given x, you call this function into a loop, and you loop through this list, whatever list is there. For every item in this list, call this function for that item, and you get back this. This is what programming language is. We changed in machine learning. We changed. This is the biggest shift in machine learning. We said, I will not write the function. I will give you the input and the output myself, and I want the machine to figure out what that function is, and machine will figure out this function and then give you the algebraic image of it, because your algebra is nothing but a function. That's what it is. If you start seeing mathematically computationally, it's the same thing. All your algebraic relationship had to be converted into functions, and you had to use those data structures to fill that in. That's what the whole point of computer science was. But now machine learning is different. You are saying, I'll give the input, I'll give the output. Can a function, can a model, or can a computational algorithm figure out what my function is? These are the ML algorithms. Now think about it. Input, output. What did we say here? Output can be same, but inputs are many. So here there is one, here there is one, here there is one, here there is one, here. Now a different kind of combination of this will lead to your Y. Now you want the machine to understand this. A completely different combination of your x1s, x2s, x3, x4, x5. Now x4 could be some other number. X3 could be a whole different number. Sir, Neeraj sir, you want to ask something?
Yeah, Vijay, I just want to request you this writing that you are doing
Yes,
to
sir.
be saved as a PDF file and given to us in the end if it's fine with you.
Yeah, I have the recording also, but yes, I can save it as
Yeah,
PDF also. Yes.
this entire diagrammatic explanation that you're doing,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
if it could be
Definitely.
shared with us.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
it's not
absolutely.
possible for us to. Yeah, thank you,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you. So yeah, so all of these x1, x2, x7, x8, x9, whatever you have these values over here, each one will have its own number, and we are now figuring out how much of each one is contributing to this particular phase. Because what are these pixel values? Now this brings me to another important aspect. It could be image, audio, sentiment, words, text. Eventually, the real akhada or the game, the stadium is what's the stadium where everything gets decided? The Cartesian coordinate. If you cannot bring your values to Cartesian coordinate, coordinate could be x and y, or coordinate would be a linear algebraic multi-dimensional coordinate, which we can't see algebraically. It is possible to model it, but not everything can be drawn on 2D. Okay, so that's how it is. So basically, if you want to model something, first you have to understand what is being modeled, what is the dependent variable, what are the variables that are independent and affecting the dependent variable. Given any domain, it could be petroleum industry, it could be fashion industry, any domain. If you want prediction, you will have to first bring it to the number line, because if you can't bring it to the number line or the Cartesian coordinate, you cannot measure. What you can't measure, you cannot model. And what you cannot model, you cannot predict. Hold this. Your LLMs are predicting all of this, words, word by word, correct? Now, to get this prediction, something was measured and something was modeled. That's what we are going to understand here. We're going to look at a little bit of um, all this time I was talking about some numbers, but next we'll talk about words itself, because the real AI reset that is happening right now is not just in terms of uh, what we say, in terms of equations and get all these deterministic models getting modeled. It is in non-deterministic models that are actually giving you great results, but there is a certain risk involved in it. And we'll understand what that obvious risk is and where the opportunity is for all of us to make sure. Basically, see, the idea is the whole money today, jobs and money and everything, especially when it comes to AI, the whole money lies in converting the non-deterministic probabilistic guessing machine into a deterministic well-behaved machine. And from here to here, to get from this to this, you should understand what is it that might get missed, so that you can bring in the technological layers that will make this happen. Okay, so my work now is to explain the inner workings. Now we'll take a 5 minutes break, and I'll be back, and then I'll explain the inner workings. The next 30 minutes I'll explain the inner workings. Then I'll hand over it to Vinay, who's eagerly waiting to show his this one. So shall we take a 5 minutes break? I just want to drink some water and come back. That's all. Fine with it? Fine with all of you? You can also take a break and come back, so that you can just, and then we'll resume. Right? Meanwhile, let me just, yeah. So shall we start with the next phase? We're at 11:14 now, and I guess I have about 25 minutes to before I hand it over to Vinay. Yes, Vinay. Right. So let's just get to the business end of it now. Let me just open up how we are talking about how text becomes. So what was my contention before? If you want to model something, you have to measure it. So now what are we trying to measure here? Quality. Quality means what? Text. What is our way of expressing quality? Text, language, correct? So the whole question was, how did we ever put the entire text onto a Cartesian coordinate? Say suppose an apple a day, and your machine actually fills in, keeps the doctor away. LLMs can do this. LLMs can complete this. What did it do? It carefully built, it already has the knowledge of predicting what is the next term that has to come in probabilistically. Its probabilistic model is so strong based on the complex algorithms and extensive data in the form of PDFs, web pages, literature, document, books, and all of that has been trained just like this, just the way we trained it. There's a Y, then there's a lot of X. We trained this and that training is called supervised modeling. We supervised the entire training and we built a model, and now it is able to predict this. I'm next going to talk about the foundations of bringing the text to the coordinate system. Might You might feel it's too much of a what you say, too much of mathematics. Yes, but this is the world today. I mean, there's no way you can deny the fact that it is going to be this way. So let me just get you. I didn't want to, but I just wanted to make sure that you understand this particular thing. Okay, I want you to see this particular slide right now. Let's see how this whole thing gets converted into text. I mean, of course, when I said an apple a day, there's no way I would just use a number for A, then a number for another A, B, and that's not, you can't just assign a number to it. Yes, we did that. We used something called ASCII values, and we assigned numbers to each and every alphabet. That is for the machine to understand a character. We are not doing that now. We are doing something different. See this. Suppose we have three texts. We need to vectorize these texts. What is the meaning of vectorization? I'm just casually using the word vectorize these texts. But what am I doing when I'm vectorizing something? You know the difference with scalars and vectors. Scalars only quantity. Vectors has direction. So I want to add the dimension of direction to these texts. What is the direction actually holding? The direction is supposed to hold the actual meaning. We are going to embed the inherent summary of this text in terms of direction. That is vectorization. So we'll see what those vectors will do. Now you will get the hang of it immediately. All of this sounds complex, but when you go into the details, it's actually very simple. Because my take is always this: if a machine is able to do it, it has to be simple, because machine cannot do anything complex. It only does simple arithmetic at the end of the day. That's what we all talk about, the ALU, arithmetic logical unit. If machine is only doing this arithmetic and logical computations, it has to be simple. It is our work to make sure that it becomes simple, and if there is some other algorithm, it is your work to go and find that simplicity in that algorithm and not be bogged down by the complexity of it. From outside it looks very complex. All of the things, any new field looks complex. When you go in detail depth, your mind is going to map everything. That's the given. That's what my experience tells me from over the ages that we have done this. Now, text 1, text 2, text 3. Text 1, I love natural language processing, but I hate Python. A text. Text 2, I like image processing. Text 3, I like signal processing and image processing. How do I convert all of this into a vectorized form? So we built something called a term frequency matrix. See how clever this is. I took all the words independently from here and I stacked it in a column called text 1, text 2, text 3. See here in this particular row, I have all the words that are occurring throughout this text. Today I'm just showing you 3 lines. This could be 1,000 lines in a book or 10,000 lines in a book. Same thing gets converted. All the text, paragraph by paragraph, every word here. So you see, this particular text one has all the words here. In fact, I can use this row 1 here, this first labeled row, and I can get back this or this or this in combinations. That's what I have done here. I've said text 1, is there and in it? No, put 0. Is there but here? Yes, put one. Yes, no. Is there I here? Yes, two times. The weight of it. You now see the weightage is also embedded. This becomes your term frequency matrix. It's a matrix of the frequency of the terms used in your three text, which we now call as a corpus. Whole thing, all three of us, all three of this is called a corpus. What is each sentence called? A document. Many documents make corpus, the language of natural language processing. Now what I do is I will calculate something called as the inverse document frequency. Each document inverse of IDF. What inverse document frequency gives us is actually gives us the overall weightage of this word and throughout the corpus. I mean, how important is this word? Now you will see something very interesting. You see here, I love natural language processing, but I hate Python. I like image processing. I like signal processing and image processing. If you see and I, if I remove this completely from this, if I just cut it off, will the meaning of this change? Will you misunderstand this? Love natural language processing but hate Python. Like image processing, like signal processing and image processing. The absence of I, did it change the meaning? No, you still get the point. So that is why you see after taking an inverse document frequency, you see the value of I became 0. What we did with IDF is we actually filtered out those which actually add meaning and removed those which doesn't contribute anything. Now when I take a multiply the term frequency and inverse document frequency, I get another matrix which now holds the weightage of each value, how important it is in the given corpus, and we've just converted all of the text into a matrix like this. So far so good. All we have been able to do is add this particular field here, this whole field here. How do I take this? And I want to snip this off and bring it to, I just take the snipping tool. So this is what I mean when I say I wanted to bring all the text to the number line. We've got it here. Now comes the most interesting part. How was or how was an LLM built? So that it understands and generates meaningful, deep, reflective text for you. That happened because of two technologies. One is attention mechanism, second one is transformers. Basically, what transformers do is it'll take the attention vector and keep transforming those vectors again and again in different dimensions because it's a linear algebraic transformation, so that it can, the many transformations that it undergo, iterations of transformations, it will stop when the entire meaning of the text has been modeled in terms of different, in all different contexts. So your attention mechanism actually did one thing. It took this and it started seeing different texts. Your code started seeing all of it at once, and it started figuring out what are the exact relationship between different texts over here. What is it that I need to attend to? What is the real thing that is actually making sense? The difference between when a particular word occurs. Is image occurring every time when Python is occurring? So basically, you know what happens? There is the concept of key value and query. Every key here actually sends out. It's like, it's like a social gathering. Think of it as a social gathering. You go to a social gathering, like a business meeting, like there's a conference, and of course you will carry your visiting card with you, correct? And you're saying, hey, I'm this, I come from this business. That's what you're here for, to discuss about your business with others, correct? Imagine the same thing happened here. Every word that appears is now asked to introduce itself. Okay, introduce itself by showing, look, this is the value I bring. What is that value here? See, this is the value. This is how important I am. And it is also sending out a query asking all others to say, you also tell me how important you are. Between this, whatever this value and query that I'm doing, there is a whole different kind of relationship matrix that is being built. Imagine this happens millions of times. This matrix actually, now both values and queries are given, correct? This whole matrix is there. But how do you actually simplify this matrix? What is actually happening? How do you model the relationship here? This is the one, you see, this is the one which goes into a transform. This particular value query relationship. Who gave this? Who gave this? The attention mechanism. The attention, this is the attention vector. These attention vectors will now go into transformers. And this matrix that you just saw, this matrix is going to be transformed into different variations. So that every transformation is going to give a different meaning. One transformation talks about why, where. One transformation talks about who, what else. Each of these transformation together eventually is going to become a very complex model. That model has everything about that text. This is how an LLM was built. Eventually, an LLM looks like the same y is equal to mx plus c, but a very, 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 very complex, multi-dimensional layer of this y is equal to mx plus c, because it has to model all of this. Now an LLM has been created. Now the large language model understands much of your language, math. People have been hired for years to input something to LLM and get the output. If the input is not right, then again retrain it. That's why an LLM or ChatGPT, what it says, it's actually reinforcement learning with human feedback, RLHF. LLM was created. They said, okay, now I think we have created something, but now let's test it. So people started testing it. The reinforcement learning happened. Then the A human feedback came in, and the model got fine tuned. So whatever models you are looking at right now, GPT has a model, ChatGPT has a model, Claude has a model, Gemini has a model, Grok is there, your DeepSeek is there. Everybody, our own Sarvam, India's own Sarvam is there. Now the problem with India's, not problem, the challenge with India's model is, see, English, fine. English alphabets are A to Z, 26 alphabets. Attention vector is all about those 26 alphabets. But Indian LLM, which people they are attempting, and it's very good. I mean, they have solved a very different way itself. I'll send you a video which was famous on LinkedIn. I'll send you that video if you watch it. Sarvam is not trying to build LLM out of English. It is trying to build LLM out of your our language, Kannada, Hindi, Telugu, Tamil. Each has its own challenges. It has its own grammar. It has its own way in which a subject and predicate is attached. So they are now building this, and once this is built, in fact, they have actually, before building, the beauty of it is the Sarvams team led by IIT Mumbai professors and many other invested heavily by other Indian technology, techno companies. They actually solved, because in our languages, because the variables are too many, they had to actually change the way in which the attention vector operates. Okay, first you have to compete with ChatGPT, you have to compete with the modern models. So to compete with the models in terms of speed and delivery, you have to change. So they have actually changed, and it's like one of the most amazing inventions that they have done. They've changed the way in which they are going to look at attention itself, and they have made it a very diluted, distilled variation of it, so that they can handle the complex changes in our regional languages. And this regional language, they have changed it for what? Sarvam has changed the way in which it can, now you can have any language. All you have to do is make the model know that, look, my language uses so many alphabets. My language has this many. Now this is just regional language. You talk about a country like Philippines, it there are hundreds of languages over there, African languages. Everybody needs it, right? The Sarvam has solved the independent way in which a regional language can be modeled. And it's a work in progress, and I think eventually we're going to see some amazing output out of this. So if anybody is wondering, where is our Indian model, where is an Indian model, why should we recreate an English model? It's already there. It's not for us. Sarvam's model is going to be used in public sectors. Correct? In Andhra Pradesh, they'll all deal with Telugu, their literature, their documentation, their people, and in Karnataka, we'll use us. Or rest of the India, Hindi will be used. Right? So that's the whole idea. I mean, if you go into deeper aspect of it, it becomes actually simple. And if you're wondering what these people are doing day in and day out, it uses huge computational power and a lot of this clever mathematics, and people sitting over drawing boards with amazing imagination, with tools like calculus and linear algebra and attention mechanism and computational models, all of this know-hows, and they are trying to solve this. And once it gets solved, you will actually end up getting one large language model. Now, of course, we're going to talk about English, and this large language model takes your input, gives out an output. The problem, however, is the same input is not always the same output. Qualitatively, it is right, quantitatively, there is no match. But if you want to run an industry, give a service, you can't just match quality equals quality. You have to match quantity equals quantity. That is where, when you start using LLMs, large language models, into your pipeline as an agent, that is where the challenge is. And the whole infrastructure around agents, or to build or actually materialize an agent which can do all of this stuff, is what agentic AI engineering is. And I'll let Vinay take over now. Vinay, you, it's all up. for you now to start your session. Are
Yes.
you muted? Okay.
Yeah. Can
Meanwhile,
you
can
guys
I
hear
ask
me?
people if there are any doubts in this?
Vijay, why is it called attention vector? Can you just explain that a little again?
Basically, it is trying to, because it came out of a paper called
Yeah,
Attention
attention
is
is
all
all
you
you need.
need.
Google's
Attention is
paper.
all you need. So it is
Yeah.
trying to be attentive towards the semantic connections between the words. It is not just trying to say what is the weightage of my word in the corpus. It is trying to understand different texts, and it's trying to figure out. It is speak attention means it is attending to all at once. It's saying, okay, this text, this word was used like this. This text, this word was used like this. It is actually seeing not three but millions of text at once, and it is saying, okay, now I understand what exactly is the use of the word orchestration. Because of this attention vector build, it understands each and every meaning of the word and when it is used, when it is not used. So it is an attention mechanism. We call the mechanism to observe. You could have even called it observing vector or observer vector. It makes it's much more crispy to use attention vector.
Okay. Thanks, sir. Thanks, Vijay.
Thank you, sir. It's an observer, yeah. So anyone else? Okay, Vinay.
Yes. It's actually good that you started the whole session because it's a refresher on how LLMs work. Now, when I talk about agents and stuff, like it's easier to understand now. What is the new dimension that agents bring into this whole thing? So, uh, can I share my screen?
Yes, yes, you can now, please.
Yes.
I've stopped presenting mine, and over to you now.
Yes. I might have to do the live so that I can collect some information. Let me first do that.
You're going to be presenting live on Swipe.
Yeah. So I just want to, there are a few slides in the beginning where I share or I ask for some inputs like questionnaires just to understand some background of people who are attending the session today. So I would encourage everyone to just scan this and get into this thing before I start the session. You can use your phone or the laptop or anything that you're using right now.
So I encourage people to just use your phones if you're watching it, or if you are, then can we send them, because some people might be watching it on the phone. So can you just copy that session
Uh,
link, not
the
just the
URL
URL
and
and
the
the
code,
code,
right?
right? So for people who are watching this whole thing on the phone,
Mhm.
can just check in the chat here, click on that URL, and
Yes, this
this
is
is
the
the
URL,
URL,
and
and
there's the code. So I
so I
see
see
4
four
attendees
attendees
here.
here.
So
So
we
we
need
need
a
a
few
few
more.
more. Yeah, I'm in.
Okay, I can see the number increasing there. So, how many total viewers do we have right now?
Right now there are 18.
Active 18. So, I only have around 10 right now. So,
So yeah, let's see 10.
okay, it's working. Okay, I'm going to start while everyone is attending, joining. Let me know if you guys can see the change. Do you guys see the slides now?
Yeah, I can see it on the phone.
Okay. Okay. So basically, what we're going to talk about is it's not going to be as deep as what my brother was sharing. That concept is super rich, super heavy in conceptual and mathematics. But I'm on the building side of things. I implement most of the things, and my talk will be mostly related to the basics, what is happening in the agentic world, what is an agent, and how certain things that has happened in technology wise has changed the entire landscape of AI and how we use it and how the future depends on everything. So that will be the focus of the talk today. And before we start, I just want to collect some basic information. So you guys might be looking at this. You can select, and I'll get to see what is the overall answers from the entire group here. Okay, so majority of you guys use every day. That's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna change to the next one. So you guys can share, for those who use AI, what are the primary areas or tasks you use it for? Okay. So coding stands out, writing and generation analysis. Okay. Got it. And then if you guys use a certain kind of subscription, I just want to know what is the group usually using here. So people who are marking it as I don't pay for AI, I would love to know, how do you use AI if you don't pay? Is it through institutions or college subscription or things like that?
I guess there's a free version of ChatGPT, right? So they'll be using that.
Oh, okay, okay, got it, got it. Yeah. But majority, okay, plus and team. Okay. So most of them use ChatGPT. I don't see anybody using Claude. Okay. It's the same thing. Where do you go when you have questions or want to find new things about AI? I'm going to start, and you can just add some information there. Okay. YouTube stands out. Okay. Is yeah, this is a free form. What is your biggest concern or biggest source of excitement about the future of AI? Something that is current or something that you are thinking of, not somebody else telling you about it? I want to see more. I'm pretty sure there's more. Hmm. Nobody else? No
No
excitement,
excitement,
no
no
concerns
concerns
about
about
AI?
AI.
Mm. Mm. Okay. Mm. Wow,
Wow,
these
these
are
are
valid
valid
questions.
questions.
I'm
I'm
very
very
impressed
impressed
with
with
this
this
crowd,
crowd,
seriously.
seriously.
I
I
don't
don't
buy
buy
the
the
idea
idea
of
of
universal
universal
income
income
yet,
yet,
so but
but
I'll
I'll
agree
agree.
with this. Uh, okay,
Okay,
then
then
let's
let's
change
change
it
it
to.
to.
So
So
let's
let's
focus
focus
on
on
today.
today.
So
So
what is
what
the
is the
one
one
thing,
thing,
if you
if
have
you have
to
to
mention
mention
one
one
thing
thing
that you
that you
want
want
to
to
take
take
from
from
this
this
session,
session?
what is
What is
that
that
thing?
thing?
I don't know why I'm seeing this. Maybe
Maybe
there's
there's some
some issue
issue
with
with
this,
this,
but
but
I
I
really
really
wanted to
wanted to
see
see
this.
this.
Maybe
Maybe
people
people
can
can
type
type
in
in
the
the
chat
chat
instead
instead
of
of
here.
here.
I
I
really
really
want to
want to see
see what is
what is
that
that
thing
thing
that
that
you
you
guys
guys
want
want
to
to
learn.
learn.
Not
Not
sure
sure
why
why
this is
this is
showing
showing
this way.
this way.
Okay, I
Okay, I
got
got
one.
one.
Mm. Okay,
Okay,
I'm
I'm
getting a
getting a
gist
gist
of
of
what
what
we
we
want to
want to
learn
learn
from
from
here.
here.
I
I
wish I
wish I
could
could
see
see
these
these
things
things
here.
here.
Maybe
Maybe
once
once
I
I
end
end
this,
this,
I'll
I'll
see
see
the
the
stuff.
stuff.
Uh, Optimizing
Optimizing
guardrails.
guardrails.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Anyways,
Anyways,
uh, now
now
either
either
you
you
guys
guys
can
can
actually
actually
get out
get
of
out of
that
that
link,
link,
or
or
you can
you can
just see
just see
the
the
screen.
screen.
Uh,
Uh,
maybe
Maybe
I'll
I'll
just
just
do
do
that,
that.
or
Or
maybe
maybe
let's
let's
just
just
continue.
continue.
Let's
Let's
just
just
continue
continue
here.
here.
It's
It's
not a
not a
problem.
problem.
How to
How to
update
update
ourselves
ourselves
using
using
AI
AI
as
as
per
per
social
social
demands.
demands.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
okay,
okay.
okay.
Got it,
Got it.
got it.
Got it.
Hmm. Awesome.
Awesome.
So
So
The one thing that, if there's one thing that I want you guys to remember from this talk, is walk the talk. Because we don't do it as humans. I'm pretty sure everyone here has agreed to do something, but never actually got to do it. I have 100 things that I've not done. You have 100 things you have not done. But AI now can do everything that it can talk. It started with just giving some text, but it can now do things. So it now has the power of doing. So imagine when you used to talk to a AI agent, like not even agent, sorry, LLM, what we just saw, right? You used to ask something and it would blatantly say that, yes, I'm going to create something for you. But it never did. Because the reason behind this is, first thing is it hallucinates a lot and it lies. But now, because of certain technological advancement, it is now able to use certain tools, the capability of using tools, and that has made it more proficient in all these things. And that's when we talk about something called as MCP. So MCP was a concept. It's just actually a prototype concept that Anthropic, another company which creates amazing large language models. I know that nobody clicked on Claude as a model that they use, but OpenAI and Anthropic, they used to work together. The creators of Anthropic, they actually started the company OpenAI and then they split. And Anthropic is just another company, one of the people who worked there. So they came up with the concept of MCP, short for Model Context Protocol, and this completely changed how AI functions, basically. So we talked about LLM, the processing, all the transformation, all the things that we talked about. It's just related to text, right? And that's why initially, when you had to ask something to a LLM, it used to just give you text output, but it never used to do anything. And the reason is the technology behind making an LLM understand what it needs to use as a tool was never there. And Anthropic changed the entire thing. They started something called as MCP, and where MCP is like a standard way of telling a particular LLM, this is the tool that you can use. Imagine a USB-C port that we use in laptop or phone. You can basically connect any kind of device to it and it starts working, right? Similar to that, an LLM can actually integrate with different applications and do certain stuff for you, whatever you ask for. A good example would be, let's say, I'm a business owner and I keep getting a lot of emails every day. So I create an agent. The agent instruction is that every day at 7 a.m., it needs to check all my emails, identify, filter all the emails first, all the unread ones, and filter out the most important ones, and then show me the best ones, or whichever needs my immediate attention. So this is an agent. We used to pay an assistant before to do the same job, but now the same thing can be done. Like you just spend like rupees and this can be done. So that's the extent we are in right now, and this is going to keep going forever, basically. And if you understand, let me just jump to this. Yeah, if and this is the AI agentic era that we are in, and we need to figure out how we survive this. So we are already in that agentic era. And MCP now it's everywhere. I don't know if anybody here, maybe you can like raise your hand or something. Has anybody here integrated any kind of application in ChatGPT? Like people who use Canva, people who use Figma, things like that. Anyone? I don't see any answer. Oh, okay. 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 So there are a few people who have done something like this. Yeah, awesome. So MCP is now everywhere, and it allows you to integrate with Google or any other application. And it's one of the prominent gateway. adopted by all the big companies, Google, OpenAI, everyone. They standardize this whole idea of MCP. And even some of the applications that I've built, part of what we are using, like this whole slide with AI, the application that you are seeing, the live session, everything is built using AI, to be honest. And we also have integrations like MCP. So I can connect to ChatGPT or Claude and ask it to do a lot of different things on like just I give instructions and it creates a lot of stuff. So this is like a gateway where LLM gets more number of tools. It gets a lot of freedom to do and create a lot of stuff. This is where we are right now. And if we carefully look at what actually happens under the hood, like when we call concepts like MCP, when LLM becomes equipped with tools like MCP, it can call tools, it can perform functions, then it becomes an agentic AI. That's the whole idea of it, because agentic means something that can take decisions by itself and create answers for you. You just give a question or a goal, and it's going to fetch things. It's going to decide what to call, and it'll give you an output. So that's the whole idea. And if you look at it under the hood, this is the usual path that agentic AI goes through. The first step is you give a prompt. It's a trigger. Basically, I go to ChatGPT and ask like, hey, can you create a presentation on this, on a topic? So LLM, what we talked about, it's a reasoning engine. It understands the context. It creates the premise for all these things. And after that, it skills is not always important, but this is how the agentic world is structured now. It usually looks for a set of instructions. It's nothing but like imagine if you are asking your maid to do something. You just hired a maid and you want your clothes to be washed in a certain way, and you ask that, give that instruction step by step, do this, do this, do this. It's similar to that. So after reasoning, it usually checks for instructions. And in the instructions, it just blatantly follows instructions properly. This technology was not there before. LLM would hallucinate, and they somehow have created this technology where LLMs can diligently follow steps. And that's where you see in certain models or in YouTube, on YouTube, you might have seen that people talking like, hey, all you need to do is download this skill. So many of the new concepts is like a presentation skill, front-end UI skill, all these things, nothing but the same thing. Once the skills, the third step is skill, it refers the skill, gets the instructions, and then it connects to different tools via MCP and finishes the task. The next option is it kind of verifies output by itself first. There is a small loop that happens. And again, because it has the capability to connect tools, a good example would be, let's say I ask an agent to create a website for me. And I allow it to use certain tools. Like there is a Chrome browser plugin, and Claude is running my the whole thing about building a website. And it also has skills like front-end design skills or design skills, all these things. So it uses the skill and uses the tools to create HTML. All the languages is also already built in. Coding agents can do this. But once it has a good idea, then it uses this tool, Chrome plugin, to see the output, what it has generated, and it will match that output with the main prompt that I get. So this is intelligent, right? This was not existing before. The loop of the output and verifying the output so that it can get the best results. This is a huge step in the entire agentic world right now. And after that, it usually has to output the result so that you can approve as a human. You give some feedback. It goes back to the first step, and it keeps doing this. So that's the basic idea of agentic AI. Unless you stop giving some feedback, it's gonna. If you ask again, it's gonna go through the same step. So this is basic understanding of agentic AI. It's so simple to see this. Like it is just a few different blocks, but inside, imagine how much they might have created, all the guardrails, all the harnesses just to make this work. So this is brilliant in itself. And let's see, like, how is it different from the usual LLM that we usually use? I think I don't have to go through this because it's straightforward. We just saw this. Earlier, you just give a prompt, LLM, it reasons all the things that my brother talked about. How does it understand? It gives an output. That was the extent of it. But now we just saw it is now capable of doing stuff. And I want to highlight this, like most people underuse AI currently, because even including me sometimes, if I did not take a break and if I had no motivation to just spend 1.5 years building with AI so that I can learn, I wouldn't be doing a lot of different things with AI. And most people that I've talked to, they either use it to like write emails or check grammar or do their homework basically. I would encourage the real power of the agentic AI is, or basically even AI native things can be achieved only by building certain things. So I would encourage as students or anybody who's here, professionals, you should start building now, because everyone is going to be a builder. That's the whole idea right now. The intelligence is in the hands of each person right now. If you have an idea, you can build amazing stuff. And while building, the pitfalls, the problems that you're going to face, that's the thing that is going to teach you about how to even navigate and how to get something good out of the world of AI right now. So I please remember this. If you have any questions about what to build and things like that, you can always reach out to us. We want to get to this state where we have certain projects, builder projects. That's what we are calling it, to make it easy for anyone to uh, like get their hands dirty and get to see how it feels to build certain things. So that's one thing. And then yeah, as I mentioned, my own journey, like it's been 1.5 years since I left AWS AIML team, where I was introduced to all these different models. I got to know about Claude where I was when I was working on Amazon Bedrock. Uh, and I quit. Like I basically quit thinking that this is a disruptive stuff, and I want to be in the weeds, learn as much as I can. And just using this, all the different concepts, I've been building applications. It's been like 7+ applications, and 3 are now open to public, and all done using AI. I've not written a single line of code for all these applications, to be honest. Uh, but it doesn't mean that you don't need to know coding. You really need to know a lot of different basics when it comes to coding. At least the systems thinking is very much important here. Uh, and that is something that you can learn while building. So even if you go and understand something as a concept, it's not easy to just look at theoretically. You need to have practical experience building something. That's when you actually learn how things work. And all the new models, every day there's a new thing. Recently, ChatGPT 6, that's a new thing that's coming up right now, GPT models. Everything is like exponential in their technology, the underlying thing that they use, and all the things that we talk about, the ability to call tools, the ability to understand context, the ability to make sure that the output is actually verified before even showing it to you. All the things are now getting inbuilt as much as possible, and this graph is keep will keep increasing the same way. Like it will be amazing in a few years. The exponential growth is definitely there. Um, and but with all these things, it is still not perfect. In my own experience, like I've built so many different things, but I still struggle with the output quality. Some of the things that I create, sometimes it still falters, and like the quality of the output is not really great. I need to go back and check what is the pipeline that I'm using, what is the different nodes that I'm using, so that I can tweak it to get the quality right. And this is also the most important thing is uh, the whatever solutions that you're going to come up with using agentic AI has to be cost effective, and you need to figure out a way to optimize the cost. That is something that is very personal for us right now. We have made applications public, but we are also investing a lot of time in understanding what happens when a pipeline is run, when an agent runs. It does a lot of different things and it uses a lot of different tools and it gives an output from A to B or A to Z, all the different things. How can we make it cost effective so that when I sell a subscription, the user doesn't have to pay too much? So that's the whole game right now. And there are different ways to do it. All these platforms, all these big companies like OpenAI, Anthropic, they're coming up with different things. Amazon Bedrock also has a lot of different things, evaluations, model as a judge. All those things are just based on this cost effectiveness. And the pipeline must be fast enough for good UX. This is straight away about the user experience because uh, let's be honest, something that is happening right now, even in my own experience. I used to use GPT 5.6, or actually 5.4 mini for most of the models. Like most of the applications, the backend is that. So it has a particular intelligence, right? And I used to pay for it. And then there's a new model from China, DeepSeek V4, that came up, and I saw it's actually like one third the cost of GPT. And like everyone else, I also use the same model. It is good, but it is not fast. And that's where my UX got compromised. Like I have to wait. If once I give a prompt, I have to wait 3 times more uh, uh, compared to what OpenAI or GPT models could do. So that's where companies like OpenAI, they actually shine here. Even though some of the open source models are good, the latency, the service of their APIs, they have this amazing stuff. But this pipeline is also something that we built internally as a system. And if we have clarity over how much time each and every point in our pipeline is taking, then we can actually make it better. So that's the whole idea. And the overall system must be secure. And this is a big thing right now. The fourth point is security. Uh, there are many people who have launched their applications online, and vibe coding is a thing, right? So people vibe coded and they've launched it, and their applications got hacked easily because earlier models did not have something inbuilt. Right now, at least models like Claude Code, they kind of have inbuilt stuff, which where you can actually create a sub agent just for the security and understand the security of your application and run, and it can actually look at your application as a security engineer and find out the loopholes. Uh, but this is still something that our industry has to really work hard and get it in a good shape. It is not that easy, to be honest. Like even the hacker is using the same AI model, so it's going to be a challenge. Later on, I think I'll also talk about what happened with the latest model, Anthropic, Mythos, and Fable, all those things. But yeah, security is one of the things. It's still not perfect. The basic idea is right now we still need a lot of work, and that takes us to some of the hot topics in the agentic world right now. The first one is harness engineering. Before I continue, I just want to pause here and ask if anybody has any questions. Oh, no one has any question? Okay. Anyways, I'll continue, and you guys we'll do a Q&A at the end, and you guys can ask questions later. But yeah, one of the hot topic is harness engineering. So we talked about building an agentic system, but right now we also talked about all the problems that it currently has, and that's where harness engineering comes into picture. So it is like around the AI model, if you create a scaffolding or a structure where the AI model gets everything that is needed to perform efficiently. That's the whole idea. Yeah, yeah, that's one of the hot topic, Ron. Loop engineering also. It is not as complex. It's also very new, uh, and I have my own uh, concerns about that. But yeah, we'll talk about that also. So harness engineering is again like making sure that, let's say an LLM is in place, and you have an agent that, and you want an agent to perform in a particular way. Because of all the things that we saw in this slide, uh, all these things, what if we can handle all these, or create a solution for all these things, and create a structure within which the LLM operates? So that's the whole idea of harness, and this is a new thing. This is what everyone is now working, and companies like Claude, and also Codex, to be honest, like the coding aspect of OpenAI, they are already using harness engineering. That's why the model quality is much better. Uh, it can it can perform better because it can actually see what it's doing, and there is option to trace the input and output, see exactly what's happening when you give a prompt and it gets out and gives an output, so that you can see each and every step and optimize it carefully. And it has a lot of memory management, something that I've seen Claude doing very well. Earlier, when you used, I'm pretty sure people who have coded with Codex, I don't know if Codex does so much of that, but at least 6 months ago, Claude used to just stop and used to take a lot of time because the context would have been completely gone. So it has to compact the conversation. It has to summarize the entire conversation, so that when I send another prompt, it doesn't have to send the entire chat to the model because the window was increasing. And that's where the quality of the model also goes down. So harness engineering includes all these things: memory management, the guardrails, or even like better handling of MCP, easier way. Like there were a lot of issues initially when it comes to authentication with MCP. I still struggle with certain things because not it's not straightforward yet. It is still something that they are working on. And even while using ChatGPT, when I connect to Google or things like that, I still feel so many issues. So this is the topic. Harness engineering is hot, and people are building actively on all these things. Then cybersecurity, yes, we all know about this, and this is what I was talking about. If you see the third point here, uh, what happened was Anthropic released a model called Mythos, and initially they released it internally to big companies just to test. Maybe they knew that it is like a world changing model. And what it did was, because it is so good in identifying cyber threats, it actually was able to hack most of the applications that it was tested on. So, and a version of it was called Fable. It was a distilled version of Mythos, actually. And the US government actually banned it when they got to use it, and they saw that there were many things which it is very good at, and they were afraid that people might distill the model. The whole idea of distillation, I'm not sure if you guys know, but it's like there's a very good model, and you create a distilled version of that model by just asking it. So you use the same model, you distill it, and create like grab all the information, all the intelligence that it has, and create a different model. So that is currently unavoidable. All models will do that. Anthropic claims that they have solved that in Fable, but I don't think it is really that effective. But this was the whole idea. Like cybersecurity is a growing field. Uh, there's always bad actors who can use it uh, to hack, and I would suggest students who are looking into next career, cybersecurity is something that will keep growing. So something to keep in mind. Then local context or memory. This is also a new topic and a very hot topic. Again, it goes down to the same concept of context window that we were talking about. What happened was, so they found out that, or initially the idea was that um, the larger the context window, the better a model would perform. That was the initial idea in the industry, and that's how they were pitching. But they saw that after implementing that, it would still not solve the problems. The more the context window, the more time it would take to reply, and also the quality was not that great. So they changed the idea and they started doing something else. They broke the context into a summarized version. That one portion was stored inside your system, and the other portion, the only the summarized version, would go to the model. So they split it into two different things, and now it is actually much more effective. I'm pretty sure all these big models like Claude, uh, they already use it. I can see that whenever I code, there's a file called claude.md that automatically gets created, and if you go there, you can see that everything that you've done, it's kind of noted there. For example, let's say uh, I'm working on a coding project, and I ask it to create or turn this or website or a web app into a mobile app. So there are certain rules that it has to follow, right? So let's say the first time it doesn't know, and it takes like 100 steps, and it gets into a lot of errors. And as someone who's experienced, like, you can bring in the knowledge, the domain knowledge, and you fix all these things, hoping that the next time it would do by itself. Earlier, what used to happen was the next project, when you give a prompt like this, it would get run into the same issues, and you had to have a set of instructions for it to follow so that it doesn't do the same errors. So that's where they realized that, hey, why don't we give the model a place to store the most important stuff, and that could be reused globally in every project. So that's what they did. Now it is possible that whatever fixes that you give, or whatever rules that you say that, hey, don't push the code to GitHub unless you ask me, unless I give permission, it will always follow it, and it will follow for all the different projects if you allow it. So that's the whole idea of local context or memory. And it is also solving the problem of IP. For example, big companies are now a little skeptical about using big models like or big company models like OpenAI or Cloud in their work settings, because all the information is getting updated to the model, right? That's what the big issue with Figma. People here are familiar with Figma. So Anthropic was working with Figma to create their MCP server, all the connectors, and all these things. Along with this, while working, they got to know about how Figma does a lot of different things like design components and all the things. They went ahead and released a version of design, like Claude Design, on their own, and Figma was never notified about this. So they were actually pretty surprised that Claude did something like this, which is a direct competition to Figma. And they voiced this. There were many articles and many posts on LinkedIn talking about this. And this has now created this rift between CEOs or CTOs on not using all these things unless it's a local memory. So this is something that all the big companies now have to solve. Otherwise, the promised revenue and the AI industry is going to get a big hit. So this is something that they're solving. And the last one, I think, yeah, loop engineering. It's the newest advancement right now. Uh, 1 minute. Just gonna, yeah, this is something really new, and I've not tested it. And the reason that I've not tested is because it's just a token consuming operation, in my opinion. But big players are doing this. The idea here is you have a goal, and you set it in such a way that it keeps on looping a particular workflow until it reaches that goal. So the big players like Peter Steinberg or anyone who has access to millions of dollars, they kind of just run something in general, and it keeps doing it. I'm pretty sure people are familiar with OpenClaw, the whole thing that happened with OpenClaw. It is nothing but instead of you prompting the agent to do something, there is an automatic trigger for the agent. And right now, with the open claw, it was just like a script that they used to call it heartbeat.md. It's just a markdown file, to be honest. And what it did was like every 30 minutes, it used to trigger and ask the agent to do a certain number of steps. Like, first step is look at the inbox. If there's anything urgent, address that. Or the next step would be if there's no issue pending, then you can just say that heartbeat okay or things like that. It's like just an update, and that's how people were able to like give a prompt when they slept at night, and by the time they woke up, everything was like already done for them. So something like this. This is the same concept of loop engineering. uh, I don't think I'm gonna test it because, of course, like I don't want to spend so much getting this done. But sorry, they're stealing the alpha of these companies. I totally agree with you. Yeah, yeah. I think we both saw the same video about the CEO talking about this. But yeah, this is true. This is the real thing. And if you like, if you are following certain things in the media when they talk about the dot-com bubble and the AI bubble and all those things, you'll get more clarity of what these new things or the CEOs are talking about and how to even solve these things. It's not fully true. The Palantir's CEO was also selling their own stuff in that conversation, but to some extent, it is true. Like the problem is real, and people need to solve it, anyways. But that's the whole idea of all the
So
hot topics
basically, may
around
I
this.
just pitch in? Loop engineering may not be. I'm sorry, I should raise my hands, correct? So loop engineering may not be commercially viable for
Sorry?
applications. Loop engineering, as you said, may not be
Yeah,
commercially viable for applications like us, like when we are trying to commercial
yeah.
applications. But when it comes to defense applications, there is
Mhm.
no end to how much, because critical systems, there is no budget there. The only thing is
Yes.
deterministic output.
Mhm.
So I guess that deterministic output loop engineering solves. It will go through the
Yeah, the thing.
entire loop and find out on
Mhm.
its own whether it has achieved that, or now whether that loop is complete and now it's able to give you exactly what you want.
Yeah,
As you
yeah.
said, tokens will be consumed like crazy, but that's the reason I said commercial applications won't be. Otherwise, cost of
Mhm.
producing that artifact will be too much that nobody will be able to buy. But in
Yeah,
loop,
at least not the people like us who want to like automate their business or things like that, and who still think about the day-to-day cost of using AI for day-to-day work. They might not be able to do this unless they come up with a new concept where it is very cost effective. The concept is good, but if it is not cost effective, then only the big players like military or things like those can do that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a buzzword for sure. Okay, so I also wanted to add this, like we all have this thing, right? Like where is AI going and what it means for us at this moment. So I just created few snippets according to my understanding of what all these things would mean for different areas. Like I have only few, but let's start with professionals. So when I say professionals, I'm actually talking about software engineers, product managers, UX designers in the software this thing. um, so it's very clear that every role is getting impacted. I I'm 100% sure. Like, or when I speak to my colleagues that I used to work with at AWS or even at Google or Facebook or Meta, anywhere, they all face this challenge right now. So instead of managing people, what the future that they're looking at is managing agents. So it's like everyone needs to know the basic of agents, how the agents work, and what makes it work in an effective way, because they are also giving you the power of creating your own agents. So when you are creating something, and you also have the responsibility of making it work properly, because it's now going to be a representation of your work. So you like, it's almost like you all have assistants now, and but you are still answerable to the task that your manager or someone else that hands it over to you. So they are still struggling with all these things. Nobody knows how to draw a distinction between a software engineer or a product manager or a UX designer right now, because building is common. Everyone can build now. So the separation, the line that used to separate all the professions, it's kind of muddied right now. But uh, and I would suggest, like, those who start building things and play around this, those are the people who are actually going to get a lot of benefit out of using agents. Agents are here, like, they are going to stay, and it's not going to change uh, anything. Like, it's better if you embrace it and start working with it, understand how it works, what is the extent of it. uh, I don't think everything will fall under the agent. Like, the decision making power, all the things will still be based on human acumen right now. And all we need to do is get familiar with how to use all these things. And more and more every day, all these tools like Codex or Cloud Code and all those things, they are coming up with all these agentic frameworks, and everyone should be familiar, at least the professionals for sure. This is how things are going right now. And then for students, okay, the students, this is a whole new thing for you guys, and it's also a little difficult for you guys, because first thing is you need to understand how agents work, and also you need to really have a good idea of fundamental concepts, because professionals in the world of professionals, they can understand agents, and they also have the domain knowledge right now, so they can build things easily. But when it comes to someone who's entering this field, they need to familiarize themselves with what is the agentic world, and also have some foundational concept. Just because if you type and if coding is done by AI, you cannot just blindly believe what it's giving you. You need to understand how, at least how everything works. You don't need to go and code. You don't need to learn a programming language, although I would suggest at least one thoroughly, so that you can understand how everything works inside. But fundamental concepts are really important, and that's one of the reason why we have built an application called Wizori. Maybe uh, and at the end, maybe you can show Wizori and something related to that, just to give a quick intro. Uh, but the idea is, like, we built something called as Wizori for people to get familiarized with fundamentals. Uh, let's really look at the picture. Like, who reads a book right now? Like, full book. I don't think people have enough attention right now, and unfortunately, it's because of social media, all the 3 minute shots that we keep watching. So we made sure that Wisely also at least honors the current reality of people. If you go to wisely.com, you'll see that all the vibes are nothing but videos. We call it vibes, are less than 3 minutes or close to 3 minutes, basically. And but it's all AI explaining certain things, but it is still controlled by human. It is defined by human. We don't let AI completely take over. It is just like we curate the entire structure, entire concept, and ask it to create. So I would suggest, like, give it a shot. It's going to be good for everyone. Um, and then teachers, yes. I mean, I don't have a lot of perspective when it comes to teaching because I've not done a lot of teaching, but I have been a student. So what I would expect from teachers would be that maybe familiarize people with fundamentals more, because this is like they're gonna see they're gonna enter a world where fundamentals have become super important right now. Anything that works, anything that needs to be optimized, tweaked, or decided, it needs some kind of core knowledge, and teachers would be the right people to give that kind of knowledge. And I remember we used to have a lot of theory, and I used to not like that much, because I like to get my hands dirty and go deep and build something and learn. I would suggest the same, like building things at this age of AI would be the right thing. Uh, if you have a goal, you are more interested to achieve that, and if you get into a roadblock or something while building that or while achieving that goal, the probability of you solving that problem increases because you want to achieve that goal, as compared to learning just a concept. So I would encourage like hands-on building stuff. And maybe if you are interested, you can ask again one of us about the builder projects that we are thinking of. I love doing that, and I would love to even get together a community which builds and learns together. So, and next is business owners. Not sure if there's anyone here apart from me, my brother, and some of few of the people here. But what I would suggest, or what this means to business owners, is like this is like a golden era for people who want to scale their business to the next level, because AI can help do that easily. Everyone now has the same intelligent tool. If you can identify, if you are familiar with your business process, then you can find out areas where automation can help you reduce cost and time. So that is the biggest thing. Once you identify these things, you can actually compete with the big companies. And we do a lot of these things. If there's any business owner here in the call right now, thinking about how do I even approach this, reach out to us. This is one of the things that I'm doing. I'm very much focused on small businesses becoming AI enabled. I can even give like a discovery call and help you find out the areas of automation if you guys need. And last thing is, I always want to end saying that apart from all the technology stuff that we talked about, we still believe, and I think it's going to stay longer than what I can imagine, is that the role of humans will always be there. We are the decision makers. We are the ones giving the directional intelligence to all these models, and we have the wisdom that I don't know how AI can get that kind of wisdom. All the tools, all the things that we see LLM is doing, the AI is doing, it still cannot beat the decision making power, the quick thinking, the critical thinking that we all have. So this is my stance. I know that those were questions also from the audience here, that how do we make sure that we are still in the play, the critical thinking part. I still don't know exactly like how do I train myself. I'm doing the best that I can by building things and learning how to decide quickly. So that's one of the things that I'm trying to do. And the big thing now is the taste. Everyone talks about taste now. So I'm trying to understand like what is taste. So everyone talks about this. It's almost like asking an artist like what is art. So everyone has a different perspective about taste. So I'm it's my personal journey right now to understand and even like maybe share with others what I uh, find out about the concept of taste. So once I get there, we'll do another call like this, and I'll share more about that. But that's it. Uh, I want to now take up questions, and feel free, guys. Like we are in the AI age. Like ask anything. Don't be shy. Just get on the call. Ask this. People don't get all this like community meeting to ask and discover certain things. We are providing this. Take advantage. Uh, Just ask, and if I know something, I'm going to say what I know. If I don't know, I learn from you guys. So that's how it works. Yes, but it is. I feel like it is important. Taste is now important. Anna, do you want to add something here, or do you want to show something?
Yeah, I was thinking of actually showing them mm, how Wizori works, and I also wanted some input. Maybe I'm just taking.
Mhm.
Yesterday I did that. I didn't want to disturb you, but then
Okay.
I put it out to audience so that they can sort of get involved. Before going there, shall we just open up Wizori and show them how it works?
Yes. Let me stop sharing so that you can share.
Why don't you show it?
I don't know if I have uh, everything lined up, so let me check. Yeah.
You have it.
Can
Okay.
you guys see the
The
screen
screen
now?
now. We can talk about how this whole thing, once we start
Hmm.
putting in a prompt over there, how it source checks it, because that's the most important thing right now, correct? Because
Yes.
yes.
So
So
maybe I can quickly share one of the vibes that I did, which has the source.
you can talk about build buddy.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. That's
That's actually
actually awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
let me check if I have sources too.
Adapted from vibe coding in product
Yes.
teams.
So,
so
uh,
uh,
so
so
Visory
Wizori
is a
is a
platform
platform
where
where
you
you
can
can
create
create
anything
anything
just
just
by
by
prompting
prompting
it,
it,
and it
and it
has a
has a
whole
whole
pipeline,
pipeline
which
which
includes a
includes a
lot of
lot of
agents
agents
inside,
inside,
which
which
takes
takes
your
your
input
input
and
and
comes
comes
up with
up
the
with a
concept,
concept,
comes
comes
up with
up
the
with a
narration
narration
for
for
that
that
particular
particular
concept.
concept.
It
It
shows
shows
you
you
what
what
it's
it's
going to
going to
do,
do,
and you
and you
have
have
all the
all the
power
power
to
to
change
change
how it
how it
should
should
be.
be.
And
And
then
then
once
once
everything is
everything is
approved,
approved,
it's
it's
going to
gonna
create
create
images,
images,
it's
it's
going to
gonna
create
create
audio,
audio,
and
and
it
it
stitches
stitches
everything
everything
together
together
and
and
gives
gives
you
you
one
one
way of
way of
looking
looking
at
at
certain
certain
concepts.
concepts.
So
So
that's
that's
the
the
whole
whole
idea
idea
that
that
we
we
had,
had,
to
to
make it
make it
easy
easy
for
for
people
people
to
to
understand
understand
different
different
concepts.
concepts.
And
And
AI,
AI,
surprisingly,
surprisingly,
does a
does a
very
very
good
good
job
job
explaining
explaining
certain
certain
key
key
concepts.
concepts.
Because it
Because
is
it is
so
so
creative,
creative,
it
it
can
can
go
go
into
into
different
different
things.
things.
And
And
the
the
kind of
kind of
images
images
that
that
it's
it's
able to
able to
create,
create,
even
even
I'm
I'm
astonished.
astonished.
Like,
Like,
there are so
there's so
many
many
concepts
concepts
that
that
I
I
create
create
with
with
Visory,
Wizori,
and I
and I
get
get
amazed
amazed
that,
that,
wow,
wow,
I
I
never
never
saw
saw
it
it
in
in
this
this
way.
way.
So
So
that's
that's
how
how
that
that
has
has
been
been
my
my
feeling.
feeling.
And
And
also,
also,
one of
one
the
of the
things
things
that
that
we
we
are
are
trying to
trying to
make
make
sure
sure
is,
is
how
how
can you
can you
make
make
sure
sure
somebody
somebody
who's
who's
looking
looking
at
at
this
this
gets the
gets the
full
full
experience of
experience of
learning?
learning?
So there are
So there are
certain
certain
things that
things
we've
that we've
taken
taken
care of.
care of.
Like, for
Like, for
example,
example,
this is
this is
a
a
Vibrary
Vibrary
vibe
vibe
that
that
is
is
playing.
playing.
I would
I would
encourage,
encourage
go to
go to
visory.com.
Wizori.com.
Most of
Most
the
of the
things that
things that
we've
we've
published
published
is
is
free,
free
actually.
actually.
You
You
can
can
check it
check it
out.
out.
And if
And
you
if you
want
want
to
to
take
take
quizzes
quizzes
like
like
this, for
this, for
example,
example,
once you
once you
click
click
on
on
this,
this,
you can
you can
actually
actually
take a
take a
quiz
quiz
based on
based on
what you
what you
just
just
saw.
saw.
Adapted
If you
If you
want
from
to
want to
do
do
those
those
things,
things,
you will
you
have
will
to
have to
create your
create your
account
account
so
so
that
that
it
it
can
can
persist.
persist.
And
And
also,
also,
while
while
once you
once you
create an
create an
account, you
account, you
can
can
see
see
all the
all the
things
things
that
that
you're
you're
looking
looking
at,
at,
and it
and it
retains
retains
your
your
history
history
so that
so
you
that you
know
know
what you're
what you're
learning.
learning.
But
But
apart
apart
from
from
that,
that,
once you
once you
go,
go,
you'll
you'll
see
see
that you
that you
can
can
check
check
any
any
of
of
these
these
vibes,
vibes,
and it
and it
plays,
plays,
and
and
you'll
you'll
understand
understand
most of
most
the
of the
things.
things.
While it
While it
is
is
doing
doing
all
all
these
these
things,
things,
you'll
you'll
also
also
see
see
that
that
there's
there's
this
this
small
small
pill
pill
that
that
comes up
comes
on
up
the
on the
right
right
side.
side.
This is
This is
our
our
idea
idea
of
of
giving
giving
a
a
good
good
experience for
experience for
people
people
who
who
are
are
learning
learning
right
right
now.
now.
So
So
once you
once you
click
click
on
on
it,
it,
the
the
idea is
idea is
that
that
once a
once a
concept is
concept is
being
being
generated,
generated,
we
we
already
already
extract
extract
certain
certain
important key
important key
concepts
concepts
that
that
are
are
fundamental
fundamental
for
for
anybody
anybody
to
to
understand,
understand,
and
and
place it
place it
over
over
there
there
so
so
that
that
it's
it's
visible.
visible
First
first
thing,
thing.
this
This
list
list
keeps on
keeps on
going.
going.
If
If
I
I
just
just
go
go
ahead,
ahead,
you
you
see
see
that
that
it's
it's
growing
growing
there.
there.
And
And
once you
once you
click
click
on
on
any
any
of
of
these,
these,
you'll
you'll
see a
see a
card
card
which
which
explains
explains
what
what
that
that
concept
concept
is.
is.
So
So
this
this
is
is
like
like
in case you're looking at something and you want to see, or you forgot that, hey, I don't know about what is this evidence gap or team dynamics, you can just click on that and quickly get your questions answered. And also, if you're studying a particular concept for an exam or an interview, basically, you can use this flashcard anytime on any vibe and basically revise all the concepts. So it's like a flashcard thing. It's a very common way of learning. And one of the big things, big jump that we recently implemented uh, is trying to solve the biggest problem of the AI hallucination. We are trying to make sure that everyone who's looking at the vibe has this idea that whatever we are creating is based on a particular source. The trust that AI generates, trust is kind of eroded in when you use ChatGPT and it gives you false information. People experience this, and we don't want this to happen in our platform. So we are actively working on creating ways to show that, hey, this is coming from this. So every vibe, there are different ways of creating vibe. Either you can use the inbuilt AI to check different sources, or I can create a vibe using a PDF, or I give the source. So this is something like that. I gave the source, and once you click on source check, you'll see that each and every claim or the narration that happened, the agent, one of the agent is just for this, just to check the sources. It takes in each and every sentence that has been created as a narration, and it takes that sentence and goes into the source that we provided, scans the entire source, and finds whether this claim is backed in this document or not. So when somebody like you, who's a student looking at a vibe, when you guys look at this kind of tells you that, hey, this is not something made up. This is based out of real existing sources. So that's the feeling that we wanted you to get, and that's what I'm showing here. This is again an example of an agent working and deciding and doing all the stuff, and also showing the real claim and the real source check here. So once you click on sources, you'll see all the claims listed, and the ones that don't have anything, it'll be mentioned something like this. It says mention not confirmed. So there is a claim, but the agent tried to find out whether it's actually something that is backing or not, and it couldn't find the thing, and it notes down here, hey, this is mentioned, but there's no evidence that it is true. So it's as clear as this. And if it doesn't find any source, it lists down in the section of no source found. So once you click on any of these, you'll see the page number, and you actually go and jump to that page. And sometimes if it finds the exact text, it highlights that text. So you can see that as well. Do you want to create a vibe on the fly?
Yeah, loop engineering. Maybe
Or
that was the hottest topic.
you're muted.
Maybe we can create a vibe on loop engineering.
Hmm. Yeah, let's see. Um,
Maybe a 90 seconds vibe you can just actually sell, because so that people can, by the time we discuss the next topic, we can have the vibe ready.
okay.
Everyone, I can send the link to them, people can watch it.
Mhm. Okay.
So basically, I want the audience to know that we've actually solved or automated the entire stack of fundamentals.
Mhm.
The patience that AI can have when we demand it from it, just to go through the entire flow without any gap. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. We start. The whole thing started with slide with AI, and then one feature was missing with slide with AI, and then suddenly you showed me this one day, and I was floored. So yeah.
Yeah, that's why I really encourage people to start building. It is so much fun. You can get lost, and your wife and your brother might be complaining that you're too lost. It also happens. But at the end, you'll end up with so many different things. So, but here's an example. So I'm in the create page right now, and I give this prompt. There are two modes: whiteboard, posters, and story mode. Story mode we are still building, so I just don't want to show it right now. but whiteboard is what you just saw in that vibe, basically. And I have a different option, a set of options where I can choose a different voice. Again, like these are all the latest Gemini models, the voice models that we are using. Um, then once I click on draft, uh, it usually asks me like to select what are the topics that you know or you don't know, so that it can create a good understanding. The content that it's going to create is has all the things that I check yes or no. So I'm going to say I don't know anything. So just so that it includes everything. So you can see that with the loop engineering, it has already like it found so many different subtopics, and these are dependent topics without which a person might not be able to understand fully. So that's the whole idea here. And I select everything no, and then click on continue. Then there's an option where if you're a teacher who's creating this, then you can select like how do you want this topic to be taught. Or if you're doing it for yourself, you can select like what are the different ways you would understand. Like for example, here it's telling me that I'll start with the smallest loop. So basically there are different strategies: decomposition, abstraction, narrative, experimental reasoning. Those are different ways of learning a particular topic. I'm just going to select skip to direct teaching today. um, Once I click that, you'll see all the different chapters it's going to create. So this is the outline. And here I have the flexibility of like changing the position or adding a new chapter wherever I want. I'm just gonna, I think everything looks, maybe I can just add. So I'm just gonna create one, and probably I'll make that as the first one. Yes. Okay, this looks good. Then after this, I'm gonna just create. I have different versions. I like the version 2. This is a new version that I'm working on, um, and that's it. I'll just hit generate vibe, and it's gonna what? Am I using local? Yeah, I think I have some VPN issues. That's why I wanted you to test. Do you want to test it?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
My screen visible?
Yes. You are visible, but I'm not able to see your screen yet.
I've just shared my screen. Others are able to see my screen? Ah,
Yes, now I can see. Yeah. Let me just quickly check in the admin panel just to see if, even if it did not show it here, because of VPN issue, it doesn't show, but it's actually running behind. Oh, yeah, it's actually building in the background. Yeah, let me take over, Anna.
okay.
It's actually building. Yeah, maybe I think even you have not seen the background of or the admin section. So maybe it'll be a good thing for you to see also. So the way I know that it is working is because I have built this admin panel over here, and here I can see all the vibes that we create here. And every time some loop, some step is being triggered, I see all these things here. So this is very important. Like if you don't have clarity of what's happening, you'll not be able to optimize or change anything. So the first thing is I built something like this. It has all the different steps, and the good part is once I click on something like this is where I see everything happening. Every loop, uh, every agent being that runs something, it kind of shows what it's doing, and the output. All these things are logged here, and I can always, if something goes wrong, when I have to talk to the agent or the coding agent, I just take this output and I go and ask for it. So now it
This
says
for anyone
generation
who's
ready
not.
in 8
Let me just,
point.
for anyone who's interested in understanding what harness engineering is, this is it. This is harness
Yeah.
layer. Knowing where it, what, having the complete log of what the agent is doing, harness. So this harness at its, yeah, like.
And the newest models of Claude and all these things, they are very good at these kind of things. So
Meanwhile, while it is
let
building,
me.
can I give a, ask the poll? Can you just open up one of the vibes there, and while this is building, can you just open, go to,
Oh, yeah, it's already built actually. I
yes,
think I
please,
just
go
need to
ahead.
share
So
this tab. Yeah. So do you guys see this? Loops that built.
yeah,
Uh, so maybe I should make this public so that everyone can see. So can you check if it is visible to you right now?
it will be. Yeah, it's there.
Okay, so anybody who goes to the Wizori website now will be able to see this. And again, the I'm not going to play the entire thing, but I will definitely
Loop engineer.
uh, keep other. So the basic idea is, again, like the concept that I explained recently was like making sure that it is optimized, the cost effective, and the speed for the UX. This is where this comes into picture. Right now, when it created the whole chapter, we don't let it run the entire thing and create the entire thing, because first thing is, if it doesn't come out nice, I should, as a human, like as someone who's triggering this, I should have complete control over deleting the entire thing, and I shouldn't be wasting my money or time uh, waiting for the entire thing to create. So that's why we just split it into different episodes, and we create episodes one by one. And if I'm happy with the information that I'm getting, then I'm going to go and generate the next one. But I also wanted to show that the vibe that we created, when I go check here, the source check here on the right side, it actually shows where it's getting all the information from. So when it says peer reviewed, it is actually saying that it is a uh, paper. It's a published paper. Whenever it is peer reviewed, it got information from a published paper from some researchers. That's the whole idea, and it is visible. You can go and check it out online. Uh, yes, you were saying something, Anna?
So yeah, play for like 10 seconds. I just want to ask people
Oh,
this
okay.
one.
Is it audible
For me
when
it
I
is.
play?
Yeah.
Okay.
Loops that build agents shows how repeated AI workflows become a design discipline, turning one-shot answers into useful agent behavior. By the end, you'll know why loops matter, how repetition adds judgment, and what makes agents improve. Loop engineering started when people noticed a simple pattern. One good answer was not enough for many real tasks. If the job was to research, compare, revise, or follow up, the system had to keep going instead of stopping after the first response. That changed the work. Instead of treating prompts as one-off questions, builders began designing repeated steps, checks, and retries.
So
So
yeah, you
loop
can pause it
design
now.
became a real skill,
So I
deciding
hope
what.
people have watched it. So
Mhm.
without this one, see, we were discussing like how we want to make Wisery as a Netflix of,
Yeah, yeah.
right. So I was thinking
Mhm.
yesterday. I was thinking that suppose most people watch Wizori at night before the exam,
Mm.
before the interview. Everything is off, everything is off, and now looking at white screen, okay, might be this one. So can I ask a poll for people by showing some pictures that I reversed and created? I took the white screen and I reversed it and I've created something.
Yeah, please stop sharing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I can
Let me
share.
stop
Then I want all the people to reply as to which one they prefer in the morning and which one they prefer at night.
sharing.
So based on, because I know you go only by evidences, so I thought it's
Mm.
going to be interesting to just instead of suggesting you, I'll give you data, right? So everyone ready? Give me a thumbs
Yes.
up if you are ready to see the. Yes. So I would just want you people to see. So imagine this picture at night becoming something like this. There's a new feature that we were discussing. Same thing what you saw on phone, it looks like this. But if it looked like this, would you appreciate it? Something which looks like this would appear like this. And in that case, I also want to ask you whether you want complete black and white, will this work, or something like this work? Slight shade of black and then a little of white with the brand this one. So since you are here, all of you, and you've seen the this one, so I would like to ask you, which one would make sense at night or even the morning? And which one do you like? Which one feels, which picture feels like you're learning something? The white one or the dark one? For me, at night when I look at white screen, I guess you get the point. It's glaring on your face. So yeah, so that's why I thought I'll just prepare this. Yeah, that's it. So what about? No, you have to the dark mode. Okay. So Rohan says dark mode. Thank you. And it's so the moment I think Vinay gets convinced, I think by tomorrow I think dark mode will be on.
It is possible because I'm using vector, so it is possible.
In fact, I
But
think you can actually give the settings there itself, right? You can just
no,
give.
there used to be a setting, but certain things don't look good on black. What I've experienced,
No, it's
so
reversed.
that's
That's the
one of the
reason
reason.
why I reversed everything. You said certain things
Hmm.
I know. That's why I took all the certain things and I
Hmm.
reversed it. But yeah, Deepika says white. Even at night, Deepika, you keep watching white screen at night, then you'll see after 2 3 minutes you'll feel it starts affecting you. Because see, for me, most of the time when we get time to read some fundamentals, it's like okay at night instead of scrolling, we'll just go to Wisery and
See,
just
we have equal number of people saying white, okay, and black. So the one thing that I take from this is it's like a mixed thing. So it should be something that the user should decide, like dark mode. We should give a control where they can switch it to white or black depending on what they
their
do.
preference.
Yeah, that requires a little bit of work in the background, but it's doable. It's not something that is difficult. So we might actually do that.
Yeah, Deepika says give one button for both white and black. Yeah, I guess that
Mm.
switch mode should be there. Also, Vinay, would you like to show them how if there is any vibe which misses the sync, would you like to show them how you set it, the
Oh,
manage?
the edit.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's a cool part. You should really see this.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Let me just share.
That's another
Yeah.
harness layer. So every domain comes with its own harness layer. So we have to figure it out. Harness means actually make it deterministic, actually make it the way we want. We were talking about non-deterministic, deterministic. So not all the
Mhm.
things will be synced, voice and image, not possible. So then we have to write that thing. So edit transcript, right?
Yeah. So, before that, I also want to show that it's fully responsive also. So that's
Loops that
how
build
we are able to do it on phone as well. So
stopping after the first. A
you
loop
can always change it to 16 to 9 or 9 to 16. It will change. But the thing is, like, again, going back to giving full control to humans, or because quality is also the key thing that we're looking at, right? If something is wrong, sometimes it happens because AI still hallucinates. Sometimes it says the word, and then the picture comes in. So there is a way to edit all those things. So there's an option called edit transcript. Only the creator mode has this. Of course, if you're a creator, you can edit your stuff. I cannot edit what my brother creates. Um, but once you click on edit transcript, you'll be taken to a different screen here. And here you'll see all the different episodes and every narration listed down here. And once you click a particular sentence here, you'll see how everything is getting loaded. Oh,
You have to let it run, I guess.
loop engineering started when people noticed a simple
playing, yes. So let's say this pattern thing, right? The way the agent has been like created, or the instructions for the agent is like, or the pipeline basically, it creates an image particular for one good concept in a sentence, and it usually does a very good job bringing in that particular image at that particular time, depending on the word, but sometimes it misses. So to fix that, we have a mode called edit here, edit timer basically. And if you go here, let's say I want this image to be shown at a different time. For example, answer, let's say. It says answer, and this one right now is coming out as soon as the sentence one good is being narrated. It just shows up. I don't want it to be there, but I just want it to be there when the word answer comes in. So I just click on this and I drag wherever I want. For example, I'll drag it to after good. So now when I run it, this image is going to show up only after, or just before the word answer. So this is how we can tweak it. And there's also a way to change the sentences. Sometimes nouns, it is difficult for AI to spell my name. Like, it's not even spell actually. Pronounce my name, it does it in a very bad job. It does a very bad job. Sometimes numbers, it gets confused. So those kind of issues can only be handled by editing this particular thing. So there is a way to edit the text, and once I save it, if there's anything edited, it already recognizes that, hey, this text has been edited. So to make it work properly, we need to recreate the audio for this particular text, and it is all stitched in. Like, it's automatically gives you an option. Once you click re-narrate, it creates the audio and then stitches it back to the entire audio, and you just have to wait and it'll do it. So that's the whole idea of editing screen.
Thank you, Vinay.
Mhm.
That was the coolest feature I saw, really.
matters because
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So so I think we are at the
Something is playing.
sorry.
Yeah, yeah. I can hear something playing in the background. So
We are not able
maybe
to
it's
hear
just
anything.
my screen. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yes. I think that loop vibe is fully completed now. Uh, the last one is running. Last episode.
Yeah. People can watch it,
Mhm.
go back and.
Yes.
So, does anyone else has any features that they want in on Wizori? Now that you most of my our,
Sorry.
like what
Sorry.
else? Not you,
So
Vinay.
yeah, I think.
I'm asking others.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm not able to hear it because something else is looping. Let me just stop sharing the screen.
Stop sharing, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I just open up the discussion or to Q&A or any suggestions that you would like as students. What else would you like on Wisely? What else do you think you want it to do? Many people, my own students, are using extensively. So this could be a great time to discuss with Vinay directly as to what else do you
Mm.
want Wisely to be able to do apart from the stuff that it is able to stitch all the doodles, explain everything in depth. Of course, that is all curated stuff. It won't do it on its own, but in terms of graphics and presentation, multi language. Any takers for that?
Oh yeah, we do have a concept of giving an option where you can select a particular language, and everything will be converted to that, and you can rewatch the entire thing in that particular language if you want.
Yeah. Any other feature you can always, you're all part of the group. So if you come to think of any other feature that, as a user, as a consumer of content, that you might want to, are we getting in that certificates? Every playlist now ends with a certificate. I think that will be the next update, I guess, correct?
Oh yeah, yeah, we will be doing that. Yes. So Rohan is asking, can you add contents related to developing full stack apps using AI or
Hey, Vinay,
integrating
you
AI?
didn't show Build Buddy, yeah?
Yeah, Build Buddy. I did not show that. So Rohan, I think you will appreciate this feature. Let me go back and show that. So yeah, my the thing that I'm really passionate about is making building application easy for anyone who's interested. So, and I'm taking this platform as a place where I want to do something like this. So, for example, this is just a sample thing. Even though it is published, it might not perform very well, but uh, I just wanted to show and get some inputs. So, just going to show this. Do you know where? Oh, yeah. So there is a playlist. I've not made it public, but just going to show it here. Build a customer support agent using Claude and Amazon Bedrock. So this is a GitHub project. It's a repository that was created by Anthropic when they were trying to teach their customers who are also using Amazon Bedrock on how to use Claude and Amazon Bedrock to create a customer agent, real working agent actually. So they have a template. They have a working GitHub repository where you can find all the code and everything there. And this is just that. And this playlist comes with all the different things that are important for anybody who's trying to learn this. So the idea or the way that I thought it would be useful is somebody who's interested, who looks at this and they are interested in learning how to build this, they would go in and first watch all these vibes, because each and everything is like the vibe that you saw, and it is based on the entire repository. So right now we have built a feature where you just give a repository link and it can analyze the
Can you show
entire
that
thing.
just once instead of building one? Can you go to the create button and just show where that
Ah,
goes
okay.
up?
Yes. So here there is something called as create a coding guide, tech hands-on with AI. So if you click on that, if you have any repository, public repository, you can just paste that repository, and it's going to analyze the entire repository and all the different language that it uses, the coding language, and it can it can create a guide based on this. So usually all the repositories come with a README file, uh, the steps to install, steps to do all these things. It will read all those material and create a useful guide for you. And I'm going to show what that guide looks like in one example here. So this is a playlist, and once I click on this playlist preview, you can start watching the playlist,
The terminal.
any of the vibe, and playlist usually comes with all the episodes related to that playlist only. So if you're interested in building a project that is related to cloud, customer agent, and Bedrock, you'll see all these vibes related to the all the topics that are necessary for anybody to build this. So if you, let's say, in the ideal world, you watch each and every episode here, and you're now ready to build, and everywhere where a coding thing is attached, it'll always come with something like a build buddy here, a guide, step by step guide. Once you click on that, you'll see a full set of instructions, step by step. So basically, it gives you a guide of what you need to do from the top. So I also have this option. I don't think it will be visible um, if I click on that, because that might not be captured by uh, Google Meet. But maybe I can. Let me just check. If I share the entire screen, let me check. Yeah, that thing is not visible. Uh, the only option I have is to share the entire screen. Let me share. Can you guys see?
Yes.
Do you guys see the screen? Okay. So I was here in this screen, right? So I don't know if I'm audible.
You are. You are. You are audible. You are audible.
Got it. Yes. So once I go to this particular thing, I can always, let me just close this. So there is something called as Build Buddy. So the idea was like, I used to do a lot of projects like this, and I was never able to uh, I had this difficulty that I have to go back and look at the instruction and then do something. So I used to have multiple windows. So I just wanted to avoid this and give a different way of accessing these things. So once you click on Start Build Buddy, you'll see a floating panel which is going to stay with you wherever you go. The idea is that. So whichever screen I click on, uh, I'm going to see this basically. That's the whole idea. So right now, if I want to continue this, I have all the instructions. I have all the code. I can just quickly copy, and there'll be instructions. Check if you have Node.js, install Git, all these things. And all I have to do is keep checking these things. Once I check, it'll jump to the next module. Similarly, like until I finish all the things, it'll take me step by step. And the last thing will be like open your live app, basically, and it'll give you instruction on how to do that also. So that's the whole idea about this. Let me now stop and yeah. So Rohan, yeah, this is something that we are working on. I actively want to extend this and give it to people to try out different projects. And I really believe that the best way to learn is by building things. So I'm pretty sure everyone is going to start doing that. So that's why we're building this infrastructure where it becomes an easy thing.
So it's like we're the whole the whole bridge between the fundamentals and practical.
Yeah.
There's fundamentals, then there's a practice session, then there's practical way of getting things done. I think the whole thing, the loop can be closed over here, so that I think serious students who are really interested in going step by step into everything, now there is a standard platform for it where their demands are met. Of course, we got
Yeah.
to curate the whole thing properly by step, subject by subject, and stuff. So I guess yeah,
when
that
I
was to.
when I spoke to many students, even here, like when I meet few people who are also not even students, like professionals who are just getting into AI, the biggest problem that they say that they face is that they are afraid to even start a project. So things like this, even if you follow the instruction properly and build something by yourself and feel that you've built it, that changes the entire thing. The next time you're already so confident that you can build because you've done it once. So we don't know. We are always like, the fear that comes in, it takes over so much of our mind that we don't know how to get out of it. One of the best ways to build, basically. So yeah. Okay. I think yeah, that's it from me for today.
Yeah, I think yeah, that's a good place to sort of end and open for final question and answers. We have nothing. That's it for today. And maybe in the next AI reset masterclass, we're going to talk, keeping this as a standard because this is going to go as a recording. In the next AI masterclass, we are not going to have 3 hours. It'll just be like 45 minutes to 1 hour, where we just keep updating what's happening.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I would like to do a masterclass of building something. So using the feature that we talked about, like let people look at the vibes, get familiar with the concepts, and in the masterclass we'll build together, so that I can explain why certain steps, why are we doing, so that it gets very clear. So
Everyone was asking something. Is it a boot camp or a cohort?
we have not decided anything, but based on the input we will decide. Like, I would like to get some inputs. What is the thing that works for people? Cohort or boot camp? Cohort means like you're connected and you're doing something for a long time and you understand a lot of different things. Cohort is also actually good. A boot
I think
camp is
first
like it
boot camp
happens
and
one
then
day, that's
cohort
it.
will be better. Boot camp, if we can survive the boot camp, then cohort is something which is ambitious.
Yes, yes.
If you're directly bringing people to cohort, I don't think they're even ready. Boot camp, maybe it'll test their water, they'll test their patience.
Yeah.
Building is a whole different dimension altogether. It's not theory, it's not exam, it's not certificate. The final
Mhm.
result is a certificate. Correct.
Yes, it's a different kind of learning that it is hard to get from concepts. So
Maybe we'll all invite them for the human is what is that? Future is still human podcast. Keep out. We
yes,
intend to start a
yeah.
podcast where we just keep discussing, bantering about what is happening in AI, my perspective, Vinay's perspective. We'll bring Neeraj sir also sometimes, and all other
Mhm.
connected people that we have who got their own opinions and voices about cutting edge, AI, and on that podcast will soon get launched. Right. All right,
Yep.
folks. So thank you so much. I guess Q&A
Yep.
is
Thanks, guys.
yeah. Thank you, Aparna. Thanks. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We are really honored,
Thank you.
Neeraj sir. Vinay, Neeraj sir, do you know him? Brigadier Neeraj sir.
Oh,
For all the people,
I don't
he's the
think
first
I've
person to,
met him.
you know, Jammu Kashmir, northern
Right,
Oh,
India.
right,
okay.
right.
So he's always, we are, sir, Vinay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
is
Very
not
nice
only
Sure,
sessions.
sir.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
And totally grounded in the language that we can probably catch up or follow.
thank you, sir.
So
Mhm.
compliments. We'll carry forward this from here
Yes, sir.
further.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you. Vijay, I wanted you to. Okay, I'll connect you on phone,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay.
That thing and then the dominance
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
All right, then we'll
See you guys.
thanks,
Bye.
Vinay. Good. Have a good sleep.
Yep.
Thanks for your
Yes.
time.
See ya.